Greetings, GISD community. This is Dr. Stewart with another Student Spotlight. Today, I have our salutatorian from Gainesville High School class of 2025, Hilary Tang. How you doing, Hilary?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing just fine, thank you. Well, first of all, congratulations on, salutatorian. That's kind of a big deal.
Thank you.
So, with all that being said, Hilary, I look forward to getting to know a little bit more about you today. So let's jump right into our questions, okay? All right, so tell us about yourself and your family.
Well, I'm the youngest out of my family. We came here from Carrollton, and like when I was 2 or 3, we moved over here to Gainesville. And I've got an older brother, Brian, and he graduated here 4th out of his class and also went to UNT to study computer science. And I've also got my mom and dad who came here all the way from Cambodia. And they've always worked super hard to get us on the right path and to have us work hard. And I'm just forever grateful to them.
All right, so Hilary, how long have you been a student here at GISD?
I've been here since my freshman year. Before this, I was at St. Mary's since K3 to 8th grade. Mm-hmm. So when I came here, everything was just super different to me.
Mm-hmm. So now as you are at the tail end of your senior year here at Gainesville High School, I know there's been plenty of people who've crossed your path that may have made an impact upon you. Who has been your most memorable teacher throughout your time at GISD?
My most memorable teacher, I've actually got 2 of them. Miss Bullard, she's always been super sweet to me, and she's always been a very supportive figure, especially when I was doing UIL. And also Mr. VR, because I've always enjoyed his classes. And you can tell he's really passionate about his subject, and he wants to make sure all of his students understand what he's teaching. And he makes his classes very engaging.
And that's a key, making it fun and making it engaging. Yeah. Okay. So what has been the highlight of high school specifically?
A highlight, I think last year when I went to state for UIL spelling, we went to Austin and we got to visit the Capitol. And I don't really leave this town much, so when I got to go all the way over there and get to see the Capitol with all my friends, it was really cool.
Mm-hmm. It's a pretty big building, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, so so now we've talked about some of the most memorable. Now let's kind of flip the script on this. What has been your most challenging? What's been the most challenging part of high school in your 4 years here at Gainesville High School?
Honestly, I don't think the school part is that difficult, but just getting up early because I'm just used to getting up at 10 or 11. Mm-hmm. So getting up at 6 for school, it's pretty tough for me.
Well, look, you better get prepared because as you transition off to higher ed, I mean, and there's flexibility. I was an athlete in college, so we had early morning practices, so I had to schedule my classes later in the day. So you have a lot of flexibility, to say the least. So if you want early morning classes, you can have them. If you want to get them midday, you can do that as well. Okay, all depends on when they're offered. All right. So, were you involved in any extracurricular activities within the high school?
Yes. Most of my time here, I was in Key Club and NHS and NAHS. And for NAHS, in my sophomore year, I was a treasurer, and then for my junior year, I was the secretary, and this year I'm parliamentarian. And last year, I was also in student council as the social media manager, and I was in the JV tennis team in my freshman year, too.
Okay. So, active young lady here at Gainesville High School. Okay, so what about your hobbies or interests outside of school?
Outside of school, when I have the time, I do like to draw, and I also like to work out, go on short jogs, and play tennis. And I also like to just sit back and watch movies and cartoons.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now, Hilary, like I said, I know kind of in the back of your mind, you're already eyeballing North Texas and how life is going to be at North Texas. But how has your experience here at GHS prepared you for college?
It helped me build up my time management skills with prioritizing work and making room for other stuff. And also the dual credit program helped me get a good feel for real college classes and how they function.
So what is your, now you talk about, your dual credit classes and how they function. What has been your what has been the aha moment as you've taken these college classes? What to you is the biggest difference between the college classes and just your general classes that you take here in high school?
Oh, I'd say the college classes, they're just more challenging overall, and there's bigger projects to work on. And I feel like the work here, it's more like day-to-day assignments that you can finish in one day.
Mm-hmm. So what advice would you give to students to help them maximize their educational experience at Gainesville High School?
I'd say just don't be afraid to ask your teachers for help. And I get embarrassed to do that too sometimes, but I've always come out of it understanding more about what they're teaching me, and it just also gives you a good advantage.
Mm-hmm. And I would say, Hilary, and as a former teacher, and even in my role as a superintendent, I stress that enough. I can't stress that enough. Don't be afraid to ask the question, because 9 times out of 10, there's probably somebody else in the classroom who's wondering the exact same thing. Yeah. And even on the professional side, with my teachers, my principals, et cetera, we're always stressing, ask the question. I'd rather you ask the question and get the correct answer than to assume and do something incorrectly. So that is a great character trait that I think is important for people, whether you're a student or a professional, that you have in your repertoires, that you're not afraid to ask those questions. All right, so the end of school is coming fast. We got prom this weekend. The end of school is coming very, very fast. So what are you going to miss the most about being in high school?
I'm going to miss the most just hanging out with all my friends all together, since after high school we're going to be going to different colleges and cities, and it's going to be really tough to just get us all back together to hang out again.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So now when you look back as a freshman at GHS, what advice would you give yourself? What is something you wish you would have known or done differently?
I honestly wouldn't change anything about my time as a freshman here, but if I could give myself advice, it'd probably be to just let myself relax sometimes. And I still struggle with this now, where I feel like it's really difficult to relax because I feel like I have to always be doing something productive or working on something, even if I literally have nothing else to work on. And it's just important to realize that resting and relaxing is productive because it's recharging you to do more work later.
Absolutely. Very well said. And again, that is something that's going to follow you well beyond your days here in Gainesville, well beyond your days at University of North Texas, but also into adulthood, is being able to take that time to rest and relax and not always feel as if you're on. As a superintendent of schools, I work, I'm never off. But I have to be conscious enough to understand and find time for me to do what is relaxing to me, whether it's playing golf or mowing my grass or just sitting on the couch and watching a good movie. Mm-hmm. As a student, I think that's imperative as well, that you find that happy medium and find that happy place to where that allows you just to decompress and just to chill out.
Exactly.
Okay. So now, let's talk about the super exciting part. Now we're talking about transitioning to college. What are you looking forward to the most about going to college?
I'm looking forward to the freedom that you get in building your own schedule, since you get to build a routine that just best suits you, and you just get more freedom on how you want to manage your time and focus. What do you want to focus on?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So now, as a salutatorian, again, I can't say congrats enough, because that is something like a big deal. What was your reaction when you found out your final class rank?
I was actually really surprised, and I knew I was probably in the top 10, but I thought I'd be in 4th or 5th. And I remember when Mr. Glancy told me I was the salutatorian, I actually thought that he got me confused with Lindsay, because that happens a lot.
All right, so now, I think it's no secret as I look at your t-shirt here, where will you be attending college next year?
UNT.
UNT? So what will you be studying?
I'll be majoring in communication design.
Communication design? Okay. Tell us a little bit more about communication design.
Well, it's where you use visuals to convey an idea effectively. And my brother, he actually played a huge role in letting me discover what that is and It really helped me think more about my future and what I want to do.
All right, well, Hilary, thank you for sharing that. And there's no doubt in my mind that, when you transition to UNT, you're going to be awesome at whatever you choose to pursue as a career.
Thank you.
So, why did you choose UNT out of all schools? Because I know, being in your situation, you've had opportunities to go to schools throughout the state of Texas as well as outside the state. Why UNT?
I'd say compared to other colleges here, it's pretty affordable. And I've got some pretty good scholarships and grants already from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like the campus too. And I feel like it's overall just a good college for my major.
Mm-hmm. And I would agree. UNT, it's a great school. They're a great partner of ours here in GISD, and it's a phenomenal campus. So I know you'll do well and continue to make us proud as you transition to UNT in the fall. So, now we got to talk a couple years out. You're getting ready to graduate, then you go off to college, and you spend your 3-4 years there working on your undergraduate studies. What are your goals for the future, both short term and long term?
Short term, of course, I'm going to go to UNT and hopefully learn the basics of communication design, like composition and color. And after that, I'm going to try and build a portfolio and hopefully get a good job or some internships at a good company.
Sure. Well, again, there's no doubt in my mind that will happen for you. I look forward to hearing hearing when you graduate and walk across that stage, but also move on to do great things. Well, Hilary, that officially concludes all the questions that I have for you today. Again, I just want to thank you for allowing me to get to know a little bit more about you, and thank you for all you've done for GISD and representing us in a first-class manner. Because I've asked you a lot of questions, I like to give our students an opportunity to ask me any questions that they may have. So with that being said, you have any questions for me?
Well, I've been wondering, how did you get to your position here as a superintendent?
How do I get to my role as superintendent? I'll tell you, Hilary, it's been a long road for me. This is my 28th year in education. And I can tell you, when I first started, I did not want to be an educator. I really kind of fell into education. It was just by circumstance, really. I was volunteering at a Boys and Girls Club. I was in college. I was a business major initially, and I had ambitions on, going out, having my own practice and making lots of money. That was my focus and my goal. But it was one summer that I volunteered at our local Boys and Girls Club that changed my life forever. It was there that I really discovered that I really like kids. I had a group of 7 and 8 year olds, and there was an academic component of it, and then there was an athletic part of it where we did different sports. And I tell you, I absolutely had a blast. And when I got back to school that fall, I quickly changed my major from a business major to an education major, and the rest is history. I started off as a math teacher. I was an algebra and geometry teacher in Fort Worth ISD, and have gone on to serve in many different capacities. So to really fast forward, so I've been a high school teacher. I was a high school assistant principal, middle school assistant principal, intermediate principal, middle school principal, high school principal, area director, deputy superintendent, and now here in my 7th year as superintendent of Gainesville ISD, which, by the way, I absolutely love my job. I love my job, and I've enjoyed every step along the way. There was no 2 experiences that were the same. I've worked in small districts and large districts, and so all of that has helped kind of groom me and prepare me for this particular role as superintendent of schools. So that's kind of how I got to this. And if I could go back and change anything, Hilary, in my life, I wouldn't change a thing. I absolutely, I have the utmost respect for the people that I work with. I have the utmost respect for the kids that I serve, and I have the utmost respect and admiration for the community that I serve. So that's kind of how I got here as the superintendent of schools.
That's an amazing story.
Well, thank you. Well, Gainesville community, Miss Hilary Tang, Salutatorian for the class of 2025 here at Gainesville High School.